Hey everyone, Kyle once again. Welcome back to another movie review for the month of Halloween. And apparently this is the second time I have to redo this thing because this film is not that great and make me make me do another one. And I just hate do-overs, but do what you gotta do. But anyway, yeah, the film is not that great. It's forcing me to do another one. But regardless, this film, okay, it's a film that it technically came out in 2015 because for the Sundance Film Festival, but technically speaking, it came out this year, earlier February 2016, this year. But that's what I'm calling it, because the thing I don't get is how all the praise that it has. This is why I just don't get why this film gets so much praise. I just think, to me, it's a boring film. That's why I say. And what I'm reviewing today is The Witch. Now, like I said before, it was released in 2015 for the Sundance Film Festival, and got theatrically released earlier this year, and it got a lot of praise. It was critically acclaimed. It has a 91% Rotten Tomatoes and a 6.7 on IMDb. And for me personally, I just don't get how this film got a lot of praise, because it's one of the most boring horror films I've seen in quite some time. It just drags on. It's on for like about 90-some minutes, but it felt like it just went on for forever. That's how slow the film is. And okay, for the first off, it's directed by a guy by the name of Robert Eggers, this is the first film he's done, and he also wrote the film as well. And there's 11 executive producers on this, from bringing it back here because I counted 11 executive producers for this film, and actually really enough, which I couldn't believe. One of the executive producers is director Chris Columbus, guy who's going to direct Adventures of Babysitting, Home Alone 1 and 2, Mrs. Doubtfire, 9 Months, Harry Potter 1 and 2. He's one of the executive producers on this film. And even though probably just used to put his name on here, but I couldn't say that either. But I just don't get what is so great about this movie. Well, I'm saying, for anyone who likes the movie, that's fine. This is all based on my opinion, though, but I just don't see what's so great about this movie. It's so slow, it's boring, dull. But for positives, I would say is the acting. I say is pretty decent. Everyone does a decent job. I don't think the acting is not horrible. Some from the director, his directing and editing is pretty decent as well. But I just don't get what's so great about this movie. I mean, Peter Travers from the Rolling Stone states it's mightily impressive, brimming with beauty and terror. And Steve Barnbecker from Dread Central says memorizing and unsettling. I don't get what's so mesmerizing. I don't get what's so mildly impressive for brimming with beauty and terror. I don't see what's any of those things. Okay, so what's the gist of the story is that it takes place in the 17th century New England, where a family, I think for the rich, I think it's like a Christian family, They've been banished. Well, it's mainly for the man, the father William, and his family are banished for some place, and then they have to relocate. They move to this little land here, that's next to a forest. They make their home there, and they have and the mother Catherine gave birth to a son named Samuel, which now they have 5 children. So they have the older daughter Thomasin, the younger son Caleb, and the twins Marcy and Jonas. Then the son the new baby Samuel. And this whole film, okay, it makes him well usually maybe it seemed like it's how the film looks is like it's all done in gray, because that's how the filter is. It's like it's all gray. Maybe because I thought maybe part of it was like boring because like that's how the film looks. But you guys it's supposed to give it like what it's atmospheric and how it's supposed to be dark and gritty and eerie. But like I said, some of the directing is not that bad. I think it's pretty decent. But with Thomasin, one day with Thomasin, she's playing peekaboo, watching her little brother, baby brother, to say, doing this like you saw in the trailer, doing this peekaboo, and then split second, Samuel's gone, taken by a witch, and then the first thing you see with witch is an old witch naked, which I did not need to see. Kills the baby. And then the next scene of that, you see like the old witch like rubbing blood all over herself. And another thing the problem is like when it's nighttime, it's like so dark you can't see. It's like to the point where I have to turn off all my lights to see what's going on. I mean, sometimes sometimes in films it does that, like The Relic. But even though I've seen that movie a dozen times, I fully understand what's happening. Plus, it's a much better movie than this, even though it's on different subjects, though. But still, I understood what was going on, even though it was supposedly dark most of the time, though. But still, and then the mother blames Thomasin for what happened to her brother, because she was like responsible for him. And that's the little thing that everyone says, and all the whole thing of this film is that Thomasin gets blamed for like a whole bunch of things. Well, for pretty much like almost everything. She gets blamed for the disappearance of for Catherine's son, and then she gets blamed for this the disappearance of this prized silver cup of hers, and then but we found later that the father took it and sold it for hunting supplies. So yeah, so Thomasin gets blamed for that, and I'm trying to remember because I just watched this, and this is the second time for me watching. I'm already forgetting what it is because it's that forgettable of a film. I mean, I the first time I saw this was when I originally first bought it like a while back. It's a good thing I did not pay money to see this, because otherwise I would have wanted my money back when it came out. It's a good thing I didn't. But I got it because I was somewhat interested because of all the praise that it got, and seeing the trailer before getting the DVD. But I wish I would have paid money for this either. But what are you gonna do about it? It's just so forgettable, and it's so boring. That's why I'm trying. I try to do my best to explain what goes on in the movie. But when a film is that boring, I just don't care. But I just try to describe the best I can. But moving on, so. And then while this where you got with the twins. They have like a small thing for the animals, and they're speaking to their black goat named Black Phillip, which is this right here. They speak to it because saying that it speaks to them, and that's going on. There's a part where the father and the son, William and Caleb, they're in the woods, and okay. The thing is, though, it's called the witch, but you don't see too much of a witch. It's just the whole thing. The whole thing is what it's about. Is it's mostly focused on this family. You get a lot of praying and a lot of talking and very little of actual witch. But and what is supposed to be scary, what is there to be scary about? I found nothing scary about it. I think it's on purpose that what's supposed to be scary because when you see the woods, when they're in the woods, like a few scenes is where, well, first of all, where the first scene when the father and the son are out there, they see a rabbit, because that's when the score by Mark Corbin is getting like louder and louder because you think something's gonna happen, but no, it's really just it's really on a rabbit. And that's what happens in a couple of scenes because of that, because always focusing on it's a rabbit. It's a rabbit because a rabbit is supposed to be that scary. I'm not scared by a rabbit. Rabbits are supposed to be small, cute, and cuddly. I'm not scared by that. So the father shoots and misses, and then the time when the father and the mother are talking, and Thomas overhears that they're gonna like make her like go to another family or whatever, and she runs away from that. And this is where I get to another instance with a rabbit, where Thomas and Caleb, they go to the woods by themselves, which they don't want to wait for their father to help them out, but they go by themselves, and Thomason's on the horse, and there's the rabbit once again, and Caleb goes after it, and then their dog goes after her as well because they have a dog. Then, I guess, because once again it's so dark, can't tell what's going on. Somehow, I guess, like, the rabbit must somehow, like, spook the horse, and the horse sends Thomason off the horse, and she gets knocked out, and Caleb goes off to get the rabbit, because this is more like focusing on more the family trying to get a rabbit more than talk about a witch here. Focusing, and plus, really enough, like, on the sides right here, look, there's your rabbit right there. There's a crow or a raven right there, and there's your rabbit. Yeah, they're focusing more on the rabbit more than the actual witch right there. So I guess the scariest thing in this film is the rabbit. But anyway, just keep moving on. Then the caliph goes and he finds his dog dead, and it's been disemboweled. And then he's in the woods all by himself. He sees a house, and then it's supposed to be you get like the next appearance of the witch, but it's in disguise as a younger lady. I guess like same around Thomas's age. And the kid is so stupid. It's like, yeah, he sees a young girl naked in the middle of the woods. He doesn't question why. Why is there a young girl like this wandering around the woods naked? No. He doesn't get scared. He doesn't scream, or he doesn't run away. No, he just stands there like this. And the witch in disguise just tries to seduce the young Caleb, I say. But then you see like an old hand grab him like from the back like this, and then it cuts away. Caleb, Thompson goes back to the farm. Then they see Caleb, he's tied on the fence post, I think it was, naked. Then they bring him in, and and then he's bedridden. But okay, and then I thought you get this one little disturbing scene where he can't he can't breathe, but then the mother tries to get his mouth open. All of a sudden, he coughs up an apple. Okay, that's I'll give that one little scene right there where the little bit of disturbing part where he coughs it up, but then the whole scene gets ruined when he's doing this horrible over the top when he's having a seizure, and then he's doing this whole over the top, going, oh, and then he starts speaking and saying that, God, may God forgive me, this and that, he does forgive me, and then he dies. So that scene gets ruined because he's doing so horrible over the top seizure, speaking, oh God forgives me, then dies. And then the blame gets passed on to Thomason once again. Even the twins, they blame Thomason too, because the whole thing is witchcraft. She's a witch, and then the twins, they say they've been speaking to Black Phillip, the goat, and then the father stupidly, he locks all three of the remaining children in that little shack there with the black goat who they say he's been speaking to. Which, why would you lock your children if they said they're speaking with this animal that they've been speaking to? Which doesn't question that something evil may be going on. No, just locks them in, boards them up, and then by this time the mother has completely lost her mind. She's completely out of it because she's seen things. She's now seen her dead son Caleb right in front of her, and then she imagines her dead baby, breastfeeding. But really enough, it's actually a raven or a crow, just pecking on her tit, basically. That's it. And while she's laughing hysterically. So so she's now crazy. She's now gone insane. And the father is trying to do what he can to keep his family from coming apart, while everyone's blaming Thomason, saying that she's a witch, and what she's saying she's not. And once he gets some more praying and this and that, blah blah blah. Because there's all these. There's more. It's basically this movie's one big family drama. That's what it is. It's more the focus on this big family drama more than the actual witch itself. And I mean, it's basically there's not much supernatural going on. It's not like that the supernatural force is driving this family apart. No, it's just that things just happen. The things like everything's being blamed on to Thomason. That she's the one who's causing this. It's not like all this other stuff is happening. It's just it's Thomason. She's a witch. But anyway, while the kids are stuck in there, they see the naked old witch again, sucking on the blood because there's another goat in there. It's white, and then disappears. And then the next morning, the board's been broken up, the twins have disappeared, and then Thomason's lying there unconscious with blood on her hands. And then you get the father who dies in such a lame way, where the Black Phillip gores the father. He gets an axe, but he doesn't use it. He doesn't use it to kill the goat or anything. He holds the axe, and then he drops it, and then he gets gored again, and the pile of wood he's been chopped up through this whole entire movie, the pile falls on him, and that's it. That is such a lame way. This guy who wants to keep his family together, trying to keep him from falling apart, doing all of this, but then he dies in such a lame way. And then the mother, who is now insane, tries to strangle Thomason, but Thomason's saying "I love you," but she's not hearing because she's way out in left field. So and you get like you could say, but I guess like the most terrifying thing in the movie because she's strangling him. She's strangling her own daughter, because she's now that she's a witch. But then Thomasin gets a knife and she kills her own mother in self defense. Kills her and because it's all in self defense. So. And by this point, you're feeling completely sorry for her, because she's the one who's getting blamed for everything, and she's being called a witch for everything. And this way, we kind of feel sorry for this character, but the ending completely ruins that with such a very typical and cliche ending, which completely ruins the whole movie anyway. So. Especially for the character Thomasin, I don't see how this is why I don't see how this film was so great when we build this up, because the film is a slow burn. Yeah, it's supposed to be a build up, right? Though, especially with everything that has happened to this character, you're supposed to feel sorry for her, but then the ending completely ruins that anyway. So after that, after all of this, she goes and talks with Black Phillip the goat. And it speaks, and it's actually the devil in disguise. It takes on the form of a man, and then tells her to sign his book. It's basically, to whoever, to give wherever she desires. It's basically selling her soul to the devil, basically. Like in Ghost Rider, when before signing, he wants to give his wish, to help save his father before signing. It's basically like that. Well, even though it's a different kind of signing with the devil, but still, yeah. Signs it, for her, to give wherever she wants, and then, she signs it, and then she takes off all of her clothes. She's naked. She's walking through the forest. It's like it's like on the poster. It's nighttime and you see her in the middle where you could tell that she's naked in the poster, but everything's all dark and you can see she's her figuring of her. It's like that on the poster. She's walking through the woods naked, and then with such a lame ending where there's a bonfire and there's all these other what was it, the Covenant. Yeah, this other group of witches. It's basically it is. Other group of witches, all naked, and they're all dancing around, and then all of a sudden they start floating up into the air. And she's like, I guess now she's like tells herself that she's now a witch. She's now laughing. She's dancing with other witches, and then they all start floating up into the air. And I guess like goes like this, like the way the symbol of the crucifix symbol, like that position, and then it fades to black in the end credits. That's a. This film is so. This is how this film ends, on a very lame and cliche, typical ending. And the film is this basically what it is. This film is so boring and it's dull that you try to do your best to that you feel sorry. That's the thing. You want to feel sorry for this character, and because she's getting blamed for everything. She's trying to prove herself that she's not a witch, but by the end, it's like, okay, I'm a witch. I'm just going to join these other group of other witches. I'm just going to start floating up in the air. Yeah, so everything built up with this character is completely ruined by that ending, and with everything else, that it's for the most part it's nighttime. It's too dark to see. You can't see what's going on, and you have a score that's being way too loud than. Because it's supposed to be building up is when scary things are supposed to happen. Nothing else is really that scary. And you have a few scenes that's devoted where they're supposed to be scary. It's devoted to a freaking rabbit. Because the rabbit's supposed to be the scariest part of the movie than the actual witch. And there's very little of a witch. And in like 3 scenes basically, where the beginning kills a baby, the second where it's like disguised as a young teen, try to seduce the young boy, and then where it's like naked again, and the we're sucking on the white goat's blood, I think, and inside where the children are locked up. And then you get to the part where you get the appearance of the devil disguised really up as the goat. So, and then with the boy, seeing the young girl, the witch in disguise, which he doesn't know, he doesn't question anything. He doesn't run away. He doesn't scream or. I thought because he has a gun, he doesn't bother. Well, he wouldn't shoot because he doesn't know what's going on, but still, he doesn't give it a second thought. Just stands there like, oh, okay, that's like normal. For young girl in the middle was naked. Yeah, that's completely normal. And then he dies such an over the top, horrible acting over the top, where he just have it. Where I said before, there was a little bit of a disturbance there where he coughs up an apple, but then that whole scene gets ruined with him having a seizure, and he's doing this whole over the top acting. He's like, oh, God forgives me. Then, ugh. And then the father dies such a lame way, where he built up everything. He's just trying to keep his family together, but then he dies such a not horrible way, but a lame way. He gets gored by Black Phillip, and then doesn't fight anything with the axe, just drops it, then just gores again, and the logs fall on top of him. And I guess probably the best terrifying scene in the film was when Thomasin kills her own, who is now insane, mother in self-defense. The children, they just disappear, no explanation. Oh, because the witch is doing. Still. This is an incredibly boring movie. It's on for like 92 minutes, but it just drags on. I just don't want more I can say. I mean, the acting is not bad. I wouldn't lie if saying the acting is bad. It's not. The acting is by the girl who plays Thompson, William, Catherine, even the boy. Besides the horrible acting of the seizure, the acting's not that bad. It's actually pretty decent. And the guy the first time directing, some of the directing shots of the forest and the land, it is pretty decent. Some of the editing as well. It's just when it's too dark to see, when it's nighttime, it's just so dark you can't understand what's going on, and I guess the guy must like rabbits, so that's why I made the scene pretty terrifying to see with the whole thing with a rabbit, as you see right there. Okay. But the whole thing with Thomasin, but with the ending, just like how ruined all that stuff for all this whole movie for this character. You're supposed to feel sorry for her, supposed to root for her, try to straighten everything out, proving that she's not a witch. But I was like, oh, okay, I killed my mom. Oh, the devil is in disguise, so I'm just gonna agree to sign whatever he wants. Okay, I'm a witch. Join all these witches naked, and I'm gonna dance and float up in the air. Now I'm a witch. I just don't see what's so great about this movie, and I just don't get the praise for it. I don't get the 91% Rotten Tomatoes. I don't get the 6.7 IMDb. I just don't get I don't see what's so great about the movie. For features, it has an audio commentary with the director. I guess the witch, a primal folklore. I guess it's like the making of it, I think. But I don't see what's so great about it. It's one of the most boring horror films I've seen as of late. I mean, there are horror films I've seen this year that are much better than this movie. Especially if you want to deal with a witch or somewhat supernatural stuff. I mean, The Conjuring, like the first Conjuring is much better than there was a part where it was dealing with a witch. Especially how in the story it killed her newborn child, and then she hung herself on that tree from the That's on the poster for The Conjuring. Yeah, the first Conjuring is much better than this. And the sequel, The Conjuring 2 that I saw during this past summer, I thought was decent. The first one's better though, but still I think it's pretty decent. I don't think Conjuring 2 is not bad. I think it's pretty decent. Much better than this. And that's a film that got praised. I think The Conjuring 2 has like an 80 something percent of Rotten Tomatoes. That's a film that got a lot of praise that I do like. I don't get the praise for this one. The Shallows, best shark film I've seen in quite some time as well. I think that film got praise as well, and I take that film over this one. So yeah, there's the horror films I've seen this year that I liked. Much better than this. And speaking, if we want to deal with some of this in the witch, like something like in the woods and some of that supernatural, I'd rather stick watching the Blair Witch Project. That's a slow burn movie that, especially with characters I enjoy more, and more on location, and got interested more in the story. Blair Witch, and that's film that got praise as well, and I love Blair Witch Project, and I would definitely prefer watching that over this. Conjuring, definitely. Even Paranormal, the first Paranormal Activity film, not the sequels, but the first one, I would say is much better than this. That's dealing with a demon though, but still of supernatural stuff. But it's one of the most boring horror films I've seen. I mean, the other stuff, horror films, I would say I've seen in the past couple of years. As Above, So Below, Delivers from Evil, The Collection, this other horror films, like, what was last year? I forget what was last year. But this is so many that I would say is much better than this. There are some of the films I liked, other horror films I liked, that got praise, and I say that deserve the praise. And there are some of them that didn't get praise. I would still say they're much better than this. I just don't get the 91% Rotten Tomatoes, though all the critically acclaimed reviews, whatever. I mean, the film came out. It was even though it was very low budget, though, it made like a good amount of money. Like this was like $3 million, made like $39 million worldwide. So yeah, it was a modest success overall. But I just don't get all the praise it gets. All the stuff that I said, I just don't get it. And so the girl who played Thomason, I thought she did a fine job. Especially that's the same girl who played Morgan. That sci-fi thriller film that Ridley Scott produced and his son directed. Her to play Thomason. She plays Morgan. But for the cast, most part was fun. Didn't do a bad job. For the acting wise, it was pretty decent, and some of the direction by the director. But score was like trying to make it much more loud as it can because it's building up the scariness. I don't see nothing scary about this. I don't. And plus this probably because this film was that boring, I had to redo the second time, so it's later than usual, and I hadn't yet gone to bed yet. But I'm getting it done anyway. Because hey, late at night, especially do something. It's like a Halloween thing. You're supposed to do something like it's late at night, but yeah. So yeah, it's definitely one of the worst films I've seen this year, but it's not the worst. It's definitely much more higher up on my worst list if I ever make my list yet. Like I would say, it was put maybe 13, 12, around that spot though. It's not one of the worst films I've seen, but it's definitely up there. It's probably because it's one of the most boring. It's one of those boring horror films I've seen quite some time. So I just don't. My biggest complaint is that I just don't get the praise for it. If people like the film, that's fine. It's your opinion. But in my perspective, it's not great to me. I don't get what's so scary. I don't get what's so suspenseful. I also don't get what's so great about it. What, because it's supposed to be it takes place in this 17th century, and how making the film look so atmospheric and eerie, whatever. There's not much of a witch, and this is focusing more on this drama of the family, and so much praying and talking and on the scenes on trying to hunt this rabbit, and the mother going crazy and blaming Thomason for everything. Everyone's blaming Thomason, but she's trying to prove that she's not. But by the end, it ruins that for the character. That's big. That's what pisses me off more about this is the ending. What the ending does for this character, for Thomason. I've already said, so I'm not gonna repeat myself again. But yeah, this is my rant on The Witch. I just don't get what's so great about this movie. I don't get the praise at all. But like I said, if people like the film, that's fine. I'm not here to change people's minds. This is only from my opinion. But hey, if people think it's scary for them. But it's not. I never found this film scary at all. One word describes it all for this film: boring. But anyway, that's my review. That's my rant on The Witch. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more on what's coming for Halloween month. I already said something I'm planning on reviewing though, but we have to wait and see on those. But thanks for watching. Stay tuned.